This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A.
If nobody comes and I'm still sitting here like this, then it's a failure. But if you judge us on one summer, that's ridiculous. Then a lot of dudes shouldn't be in their roles. I mean, because if we're banking on one summer for the Lakers, we're in trouble, right? We're in trouble because you have to give us time. This class, like I told you before I took the job and when I took the job, it's going to be a 2-summer thing for the Lakers. This summer and next summer. And that's it. And then if I can't deliver, I'm going to step down myself. She won't have to fire me. I'll step away from it, because then I can't do this job. No pressure on me. I mean, I'm gonna do my job. I've always done that. Look, I've been playing in, how many finals I've been in? So you think I'm worried about this? I played against Larry Bird in the finals. I mean, come on, man. I've been in 9 finals. I've been in college NCAA championship, I'm Magic Johnson. I'm still the same dude. I'm not going to change. There's no pressure on me. I'm going to do my job. That's what I do. I do my job. I'm excited. It's fun.
You heard him. It was Irvin Magic Johnson. This is your boy, Stephen A. Smith. The Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, is being presented by Progressive Home Insurance. Getting a quote is easier than ever before. Plus, with GNC Auto Deliver and Save, don't worry about missing a daily dose of your favorite products. Set up your free subscription and enjoy free shipping and 10% off the order. Quality ship, wellness delivered. Visit GNC.com or a store near you to learn more. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here on ESPN Radio. Before Ramona Shelburne, our NBA reporter, comes on the air for us in approximately 8 minutes or so, I'll get back to the calls because we're talking about free agency, L.A., New York, the Clippers, the Lakers, Magic Johnson, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George is supposedly willing to stay in OKC. Let me also touch on something first because I want everybody in OKC to understand something about me. It's very, very important. When I am critical of something or someone, I am critical of what they've done, not who they are, unless it's something that's habitual, where it defines who you are. And I'm in the moment and I'm talking to you about those moments. Let's give you an example. When I'm critical of Sam Presti, I know that Sam Presti's a damn good executive. I know that Sam Presti has a great reputation. I know all of that. And I don't want anybody to think that I don't know that. I don't want anybody to think otherwise. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm trying to make you understand, what I'm trying to express to you, Sam Presti had Serge Ibaka, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Reggie Jackson, and Russell Westbrook on the same roster. All of them are gone except Russell Westbrook. And there's not one single title to show for it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a fact. Now, I asked John, I asked Nuno, I asked Kat, if Sam Presti was in New York and had those players that never won a championship, would we not be all over him? If Sam Presti were in Chicago and had all of those players and not one single championship to show for it, would we not be all over him? If Irvin Magic Johnson, Jerry West, John Paxson, Phil Jackson, Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Dell Demps, Masai Ujiri, hell, Sam Hinkie, Bob Myers. If any of them had the last 2 MVPs, the reigning 2-time NBA Finals MVP, all on the same roster at the same time, and never had one single NBA championship to show for it, what would we be saying about them? Now, John, I don't want to speak out of turn, and I'm in so many markets. Forgive me for asking this question, exposing my ignorance. But I do believe we are in Oklahoma City, are we not? No. I mean, come on. I want to emphasize for the moment that under no circumstances am I saying that Sam Presti is not a credible and damn good general manager. Under no circumstances am I saying the man should be fired, that he's done an awful job. I'm not saying any of that. I'm asking a direct, specific question. Is there an executive in the NBA that any of you know of that could have Kevin Durant, Serge Ibaka, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Reggie Jackson, all on the same roster at the same time at one point in time in their careers? Is there any executive that could have Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant together for 8 years, Serge Ibaka, Kevin Durant, and Russell Westbrook together for 5 or 6 years, not have one title to show for it, and could get away with it? Take your time, ladies and gentlemen. I'll wait. Take your time. We're on an OKC. I'm talking to the city of Oklahoma City. Incredible fan base. And I know a few guys in the Oklahoma City Thunder organization, and I respect the hell out of Sam Presti. Listen, people respect me, but it doesn't stop them from being critical of me from time to time. I can't be critical of him while still respecting him and his basketball acumen. Of course I can. I'm simply saying to the city of Oklahoma City, my God, not one title to show for it? Not one? Not one? I like Scott Brooks. I respect Scott Brooks. I don't think Scott Brooks would ever be accused of being the best coach in the NBA. I don't think Scott Brooks would be accused of being a top 10 coach in the NBA. Why the hell was he in OKC so long? Billy Donovan is a 2-time champion as a head coach. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Damn good basketball mind. Did it on a collegiate level, but on a pro level, managing those pro personalities. Was Billy Donovan the ideal coach to coach Russell Westbrook? How come Fizdale didn't end up in Oklahoma City? How come Mark Jackson didn't end up in Oklahoma City? How come Dwayne Casey didn't end up in Oklahoma City? How come Mo Cheeks hasn't had a chance to be the head coach in Oklahoma City? Is it just me? See, we don't ask these questions about other folks, the Sam Prestis of the world. But if this was some of these other cats out there, we'd have been all over them. Again, I'm not saying Sam Presti is not a damn good executive. Am I saying he's gotten a pass? You're damn right I'm saying it. You're damn right. I mean, damn. Who has those players? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sitting here with you right now telling you that the last 2 NBA League MVPs and the reigning 2-time defending NBA champion and NBA Finals MVP were all under Sam Presti in Oklahoma City on his roster at the same time for years. And there's not one single championship to show for it. Now, if that's being hard on somebody, call me a hard man. It's only fair. We do it to anybody else. We don't get to let him off the hook. Come on now. Come on now. I'm going to say this before I go to Ramona Shelburne. I ain't going to call it white privilege, but I'll be damned if some other people haven't said that to me. Come on now. This with anybody else. We be looking at Sam Presti going like this. What's going on, man? All them damn players on your roster and still no title? I'm just saying. My honor to have my next guest on the line, my colleague here at ESPN, who just does an outstanding job reporting out of L.A. on the NBA. The one and only Ramona Shelburne is here with us right now. What's going on, Ramona? How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Steven?
I'm doing great. Thank you for coming on the show, taking time out of your busy schedule. Break it down for me. What on earth is going on in L.A.? We got Magic Johnson saying there's no pressure. Then we got reports from you, Brian Windhorst, and Woj talking about there's an elevated level of pressure to get a trade for Kawhi Leonard because that might determine what LeBron is going to do. Break it down for us, Ramona.
Look, I think this is really actually pretty simple. I think LeBron has a pretty strong interest, not even pretty strong, I think he has a strong interest in coming to Los Angeles. But the question is, would he come alone? And thus far, in this time of year, and you know how this works, okay? Teams can't recruit players. Players can recruit players, right? So he has a pretty good idea of who is interested in either coming with him or who is staying and where he stands in terms of being the first to jump on board the boat or not being the first to jump on the boat. And I think that's where we are right now because he's got till Friday to decide whether or not to opt into the final year of his contract in Cleveland. And if he's the only one that feels like he is going to go to L.A. or if there's nobody else that looks like they're going to be there with him, if it's just going to be him and the 20 to 24-year-old kids, that makes that decision a lot more complicated. And I think that's why I know what Magic was saying yesterday, which I don't understand how people don't understand. Like, this is a pretty easy situation yesterday with Magic, right? Magic Johnson is an incredible competitor. He has only won at things in his life. And when he doesn't win at things in his life, he is mad about it or he does something else, right? He doesn't necessarily stick around if he can't be successful at it. And he's got a lot of faith in himself. He's a competitor. And yesterday, Bill Plaschke from the LA Times, one of our colleagues on Around the Horn, you see him all the time, was pushing him, what's the pressure on you to deliver this summer? And he put the pressure right on himself because that's how Magic is. Like, if I can't deliver, then you shouldn't want me on your team. That's what any athlete would say. The question is, what any executive say? The only one I know who says something like that was Jim Buss, which is incredible to put those two in the same sentence.
Well, let me ask you this, Ramona, because you work the locker room just as well as anybody.
Yeah.
When you talk to LeBron James, when you've talked to teammates, other people close to LeBron James, do you get the impression, because this is the impression that I've got, and it's just an impression.
Yep.
The LeBron James that was chasing titles before has changed. He's a 3-time champion, a 4-time league MVP. So right now, I think the next move is going to be more about quality of life and lifestyle as opposed to chasing that ring, which means I think there's an increased possibility that he would go to L.A. even if it were alone. Do you get that impression?
Yeah, and I think you're right on it. And I think his goals, like we talk about him in the same sentence. For the last couple of years, we've been saying, is it LeBron or Michael, right? Is it who's the best, right? And everybody comes back to rings, and Michael has more, and he's probably going to end up with more. But I don't think he's chasing Michael. I think his role model right now is a guy that he wants to be remembered in the same sentence with is Muhammad Ali. I think he cares about the platform. I think he cares about social impact and where he can have the biggest social impact. I think that's L.A. or Cleveland still because he has had a huge impact in the city of Cleveland and all of Northeast Ohio. That was his mission coming back home and delivering a championship there. That was like probably his greatest legacy is delivering the championship to Cleveland and everything he's done in that community. But there's just no stage like LA and there's no stage like the Lakers, and playing alongside Magic Johnson, who is a pillar in the community, would probably win. If he ran for governor, he'd probably win that, right? He's that popular in the community, has had that kind of impact on businesses, on minority businesses all over the state.
Right.
He's had his own mission in terms of social impact, and I think that's really appealing to LeBron James as he goes forward in terms of his legacy.
We're talking to Ramona Shelburne from ESPN right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Do you know whether or not LeBron James has spoken to Kobe Bryant?
I do not know that. I've been talking to Kobe to find out sort of what role he plays in it. I kind of laughably, I texted him the other day asking, hey, so why are they having cheesy videos with Rob Pelinka and some lame pitch to Paul George when they got an Oscar winner in the family, right?
Yeah, right. That's a good point. That's a good point. Right.
Right. And Kobe said he's really busy. He's not really getting involved. He's got his own stuff. I think he's probably got like 7 more shows to make for us, right?
Right.
And you know him. He's got like 7 books he's writing.
Yep.
And a million things he's doing. So I think he's kind of out there in this like Godfather role, like you come see me and kiss the ring, right? I don't think he's out recruiting right now, but I think he's a call away. So if anyone's calling him, he's taking that call. If the Lakers say, we need you, man, he'd be there. But right now he's in Kobe land.
Has it come down from what you're hearing to L.A. and Cleveland, or is there an outside team from those two that is expected to get some strong level of interest from LeBron James? Yeah,
I really think it's L.A. and Cleveland. I can't report that officially, right? I just think that,
right.
And it's a sense, those other teams are going to try, of course, right? But, LeBron James at the stage of his career where he's not going to be a mercenary, right? That's too small for him in terms of his legacy and his career. So I just, those teams might try, but I just feel like it's LA and Cleveland, but I don't want to say that in a reported kind of way because that's more of my sense. The same way I think you probably have the same sense, right?
Anyway, I do. Anyway, we're talking to Ramona Shelburne right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Any way you see Kawhi Leonard landing in LA before next season? I mean, before next summer?
I think if the Lakers called him and offered their whole roster, right? Who do you want? Okay, all the kids, all the draft picks you pick, we just Adrian Wojnarowski and Brian Windhorst and I just published a story this morning saying, the pressure is on the Lakers to get somebody else there with him. And obviously, if you don't know or if you don't feel good about Paul George coming as a free agent, if LeBron doesn't feel that, then Kawhi Leonard is the star that you have a sense that at least he wants to be there. He can't be there on his own volition until next year, so you'd have to trade for him. I don't know, but to me, when we were reporting this story, the biggest takeaway was the Spurs' sort of willingness to engage the Lakers because up until now, it felt like, the Lakers called once and they basically hung up the phone on them and said, don't bother, right? Mm-hmm. So the sense that there is a willingness to engage on that is different, and it makes sense, right? We're a couple of days from a big deadline here. And that's when the leverage would be highest if you're San Antonio. So you kind of put that pressure on the Lakers, you put that pressure on Magic Johnson and see how they react. Maybe they'll give you the whole team.
Who do the Lakers consider a more important component to adding to the roster outside of LeBron James? Kawhi Leonard or Paul George?
I haven't asked anyone specifically that question, right? So it would just be my opinion on this. But I know the way they want to play, right? And the way they want to play is fast, and they want to have long, rangy athletes who can play great defense. So in my book, that's probably Kawhi, in terms of just a little bit ahead of Paul in both of those categories. But Paul's the guy they can get now as a free agent without having to give up half the team. So, in terms of skill set and in terms of the way that Luke Walton has been coaching these Lakers, the way that Magic Johnson has been trying to build these Lakers, you heard Jeannie Buss the other night say, what I told the new front office is pick a style of play, get the type of players that you need to play that style and stick with it. Don't just blow with the wind. That's what they've been trying to do these last couple of years, develop a culture and a style of play. That's where they're going. And last year they played at the fastest pace in the league. They had the worst three-point shooting in the league, so that's obviously an area they need to improve in. But those young players really stepped up on defense towards the second half of the year once they bought into Luke Walton's system and once he was basically like, if you don't play defense, you're not going to play. He would take Kyle Kuzma out of the game. Brandon Ingram would get benched if they didn't play defense. And so they started buying in, and their defensive stats were way better the second half of the year.
Ramona, what do you make of folks that have been alluding to the possibility that Phil Jackson could return? Because if you were to get LeBron, Jeannie is still close with Phil, and you just never know. My understanding is that Luke Walton's doing a good job. I like Luke Walton. They seem to like Luke Walton. What is that about?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't see that at all. Phil's up in Montana. He's retired. He's not. And, look, I think Jeannie and the whole, Laker crew right now, I think they have a connection to Phil. I think Luke still talks to him, texts with him, but I don't, that's more of a mentor thing. Same way Steve Kerr would text with him, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they're thinking about that. Plus, by the way, it's not like LeBron feels all that great about Phil Jackson.
That's right. That's what I said a few
Have
minutes
we forgotten
ago.
That? Like,
I had to tell the audience that a few minutes ago. LeBron ain't particularly fond of Phil Jackson.
No. Come on now.
Exactly.
Like that. I don't think so. Like, I think I don't see that at all. Like, I mean, to me, like, that time has passed. And, like, Luke Walton has done a great job since he's been there. He's sort of the next Phil, right? The role player.
They've improved every year.
Injuries,
they've improved under this. I like the way that they're playing. I like the development of the players. We're talking to Ramona Shelburne right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Let me put you on the spot with this. This summer, you've got Kawhi as wanting to be traded. You got Paul George and LeBron as free agents. The summer of 2019, you got Klay Thompson, you got Jimmy Butler, you got Kyrie Irving, you got Karl Anthony Towns. Who knows who else is going to be available out there? If I said to you, Ramona Shelburne, Lakers going to get two of those guys, which two would it be? Over the next 2 summers.
2019?
Over the next 2 summers. This summer and next summer. If I had to tell you the Lakers are going to end up with two of those guys, who would the two guys be based on what you know or what you believe?
I've always thought they were getting both guys this summer. I've thought that for a long time. I think now is the time when you just kind of steel your nerves and play it out and let things happen, right? Like, I think this is, as Magic Johnson said, this is the pressure time, and is how you respond to that pressure. I still think it's LeBron and Paul George. I've thought that the whole time, but last 2 years. I mean, Paul George said he wanted to be in L.A. Yep. His family is in Los Angeles. Like, the thing that's changed is he went to Oklahoma City, and he loves the people he met there, and he loves the relationships he built. But can you really pass on a chance to come home? Can you really do that when your parents can sit courtside every game? Like, that's really hard to pass on. And the Lakers aren't allowed to talk to him until July 1st. So they haven't been able to go recruit him like Draymond Green was recruiting Kevin Durant a couple of years ago, right? Like, they don't have veterans out there, players who can go recruit him. They had to play by the rules because the scrutiny's on this. I still think it's LeBron and Paul George. But of the other ones you mentioned, I don't know. If they don't get who they want to get this year, right? If they don't land him, Kawhi is still out there, because to me the Kawhi option is interesting. If they get 2 players this year, then Kawhi doesn't have the Lakers as a choice because they don't have any salary cap for him anymore, right? If people take the two max spots this summer, they don't have it next summer. So he's, because that makes the Spurs lose some leverage there, him lose some leverage, et cetera. So maybe they have to trade him for a more reasonable price. So that's an interesting one to watch play out if this summer doesn't go that way. And then the other ones, I think maybe Jimmy Butler, because he'll be older and it'll be tough for Minnesota to really pay all those players. And he's the older one. Usually you choose the younger players to sign to max deals.
Ramona Shelburne, always appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming on the show. You take it easy, okay?
Thanks, Ian.
Thank you. The one and only Ramona Shelburne does a great job for us on the NBA based out of Los Angeles. She's right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. You're listening live to Stephen A., ESPN Radio. Back with your calls on NBA free agency. I'm going to get into a little NFL action and more in a minute. You're listening live to Stephen A. on ESPN Radio.
Ryan! I don't know how else to say this, so I'll just say it.
What is it, Linda?
I think we should see other people.
Are you breaking up with me? On a roller coaster?
Well, we do have a lot of fun. Maybe we should stay together.
An emotional roller coaster? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
I just need a little me time.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Let's get back to the phones. 888-SAY-ESPN. Let's go to Patrick. You're live with Stephen A. Talk to me.
What's up, Stephen A? First off, I want to say thank you for showing Seattle basketball love. I just want you to know me and everyone else in Washington appreciates it a lot.
Y'all deserve a basketball team, man. I mean, the city's got to come together and get the right facilities and all of that stuff. But the city of Seattle deserves an NBA basketball team. They deserve it.
I don't care if it's the Nets, Clippers, Kings. Just give us somebody at this point.
Yeah, you got to have it.
Second off, I just wanted to say, Magic Johnson, he's a great executive, a great player. Obviously, that goes without question. I just think that for an executive who has been fined for tampering and hearing all this stuff about what the Lakers are trying to do before free agency starts, don't you think the NBA should keep a close eye on that?
Nope. I think all of that tampering stuff is bogus, and I think the rules are archaic and they need to grow up. People talk to people all the time. Why lie about it?
Okay. I perfectly respect that. You have the rest of the week.
Why lie about it? Thanks a lot, Patrick. Appreciate it. Jose, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me.
Hey, how you doing, Stephen A? This is Jose. Been a fan for a long time. First-time caller.
Thank you. Go ahead, bro.
Hey, excuse me. I heard about what you said about, Kawhi going to L.A. And what about the Clippers? He said he's not like he doesn't need the glitz and the glamour.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I reported this morning on First Take, my show on First Take on ESPN from 10 a.m. to noon every weekday. I was talking about how you had Clippers. I was talking about you had Clippers, members, folks in the Clippers camp. When they made the move for Gortat for Austin Rivers, one of their goals is to create, to get to the 60 million mark. That way they'll have enough money to bring a marquee free agent here next summer. And their belief is that Kawhi Leonard, even though LA is clearly his preferred destination, that he'd still be willing to come to the Clippers just to get back to LA if indeed the Lakers are not a viable landing spot. That's their belief, and they plan on being a major player next summer. That is what I've been told.
Okay, and also with Paul George, this last season, I didn't feel like he was the PG-13 of old, playing second fiddle to Westbrook. And I feel like playing with Kawhi, he could be the same PG of old because Kawhi's not looking for he doesn't want to shine. Like, he just wants to go in, like you said, bring his lunch pail to work every day, go put in that hard work, and, go home.
I just don't know if it's plausible that Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and LeBron will be together. I think two of the three will be together, potentially, but I don't think all three.
I was talking about Paul George going to the Clippers. He wants to be in L.A.
Yeah, but they won't have enough. They won't have enough for both. I don't believe. I mean, I can look at their numbers, but I can tell you right now, my initial inclination is that they won't have enough to get all three. They certainly won't have enough this summer. And I don't know whether they'll have enough next summer for that. This summer, they're committed to $108 million. Next year, they're down to about 33, so it says. DeAndre Jordan can opt in or out of his $24.1 million contract by this Friday. Danilo Gallinari is on the books for $42 million over the next 2 years, all right? Louis Williams get $8 million for the next couple of years. So they're clearly going to have space for 2019, 2020. That's next summer. You're right about that. Whether they have enough to get two max players remains to be seen. It depends on who those guys are. But I think Paul George's decision is going to be made this summer, and he ain't going to the Clippers this summer. And I don't think he's going to wait around for next summer. I think Paul George is going to grab his money now. So I don't see Paul George as a Clipper.
I understand.
All right.
That's all I got. And
thanks a lot. I appreciate the call, man. Take it easy. Let's go to Jake. You're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. What's up, Jake? How are you, man?
Do good, Stephen A. Real quick, I know there's a lot of buzz with some of these larger market teams like Lakers, Philly, Boston, and hell, even New York with Kyrie hinting that he might go there next year. But what's going on in Chicago? And this kind of stems back to the D Rose era. With them settling for Carlos Boozer. I want to know what the deal is with Pax and Foreman and what your thoughts are.
Well, first of all, Paxson and Foreman don't have the greatest reputation right now. They're not perceived as having done an outstanding job. That's number one. I personally don't mind both of them. I like both of them, but they don't have the greatest reputation. Reinsdorf is known for being incredibly patient with his executives, and he's being patient with them. But the clock's ticking. They've got to make a decision about Zach LaVine. I mean, they've got like a $4.4 million qualifying offer. They're in a situation where they can re-up him, which they intend to do, from what I'm told. I just don't know how much money they're going to have to pay him. Clearly, Markkanen is a guy for the future. They like him a lot. Robin Lopez comes off the books after this season. I mean, you look at some of these other guys, they don't really have much, so they should have the money. The question is, they haven't done anything that makes anybody want to believe that somebody's going to clamor to go to the Chicago Bulls. That's their problem. That's what they're dealing with right now.
Thanks, Stephen A. I appreciate it.
Take it easy. Let's go to Greg. You're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, Greg.
Stephen A., thanks for having me on. Big time fan. Been rocking with you a long time. My point on Magic Johnson. I think that what Magic basically is saying, when he says he doesn't get it done in 2 years, he'll walk away, is based on the Lakers missing out on so many free agents over the years, and with it basically been a slam dunk that he lands two of these people or so many people, he's saying if he doesn't get two, he doesn't want the job because maybe they're convinced nobody wants to come to L.A.
No, I don't think that's what he's saying. I don't think that's what he's saying. I think what he's saying is I'm Irvin Magic Johnson. When I'm here, you expect results. So because because of those expectations, if I don't live up to them, I don't deserve the job. I think he's being a man about it, and I respect that. I think that's what's going on.
But but also I just want to say I think that he made that statement. I mean, he knows that. I mean, he has people that want to come there. So if he can't deliver with people wanting to come there, I mean, I just think it's a slam dunk, Stephen A. But thanks for having me on.
Like I said, if guys don't show up and produce, if he doesn't produce what he's expected to produce, Magic Johnson is very big on accountability. He's very big on making sure that he does his job, whatever his job is. And it's something that all of these youngsters out here can learn. See, we got so many people in this world today, particularly you young whippersnappers out there, breath smelling like Similac, wet behind the ears, don't know a damn thing but think you know everything. Here's the deal. You got a lot of people that they're what former coach at Temple, John Chaney, called the microwave society. Everything's about now, and so little is about accountability. All of us want more than we have. If you got any kind of ambition about you, you want more than what you have because you're about success, and success is defined by growth. If you're not growing, you're stagnant, you're standing still. And if you're standing still, likelihood is you're regressing because the world moves at such a fast pace, everybody's moving ahead. So if you're standing still, you're not doing anything, which means you're failing. But if you're about being ambitious, you're about growth, you want more. But you don't want the accountability. And people like Magic Johnson teach us about accountability. You got to do your job. You can't be a jack of all trades, master of none. You got to master something. You got to be gifted and exploit and maximize your skills and your gifts at something. You can't be just blah or ordinary at things. You got to want more. You got to go for more. You got to believe in yourself that you can acquire more. That's what living is. Remember that speech in any given Sunday? Al Pacino. That's what living is. It's 6 inches in front of your face. That's what it's about. And Magic Johnson's words reminded me of that. Should have reminded you too. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. We'll close out the show with your calls and more in a minute. You're listening live to Stephen A. on ESPN Radio.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it!
Back to the phones we go real quick before we get on out of here. Make your points quick, or I will do it for you. Let's go to Earl. You're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, Earl.
Hey, good afternoon, Stephen A.
Good, what's up?
Just wanted to get a little Boston Celtic moment out of you. I think the Celtics are about to make the biggest mistake they ever made when they're going to let the bulldog of that team, Marcus Smart, leave out of their free agents.
Mm-hmm.
He's that one that brings that mental toughness, and I think that they need to hold on to Marcus Smart and maybe
I agree with you. I agree with you. He's definitely a piece of the heart and soul, but Rozier and those boys are tough as well. But the problem with Marcus Smart is they think he's worth about 10 to 11 million per. Marcus Smart thinks he's worth about 14. I would confess to you, I'd give Marcus Smart 14 million. On that team, I'd give him the 14 million.
Last thing, I'm gonna take it all the way back to Al McGuire. I love the Celtics, but we're not going nowhere till we mount an aircraft carrier in that post.
Got you, and I'm not sure drafting Williams is the right guy. I think he's got some questionable knees, but we'll find out, even though he can block shots. Sebastian, you're live with Stephen A. Go ahead real quick.
Hey, what's up, Stephen A? I'm a huge fan.
Thank you.
I just want to give you a call, and LeBron going to L.A., do you really think that happened? Do you think LeBron is gutsy enough to move into the West or stay in the East?
I think he's going to go West. That's my personal opinion, but I'm not sure. Thanks a lot. Michael, you're live with Stephen A. What's up?
Hey, Stephen A. So I have a quick question. in terms of LeBron's legacy and talking about how they're going to pitch LeBron to L.A., why has no one brought up a potential L.A. LeBron versus Boston Kyrie narrative? That seems like a very interesting way to play out the rest of LeBron's career. And
because we got to wait until LeBron gets there first before we create that narrative. Thanks a lot. Let's go to Eric in Michigan. You're live with Stephen A. Real quick, Eric, go ahead.
Hey, Stephen, I was wondering if you remembered the names of Tommy Smith, Peter Norman, and John Carlos.
Of course. Yes, I did. 1968 Olympics. Go ahead.
50 years ago, they made a beautiful protest, and 50 years later, things haven't changed.
I wouldn't say
Colin Kaepernick is still going through the same treatment all three of those men went through.
I don't know if that's true. I really don't know if that's true. I think times have changed. I think there's still vast improvement that needs to be made. I certainly won't deny that for 1 second, Eric. But I also think we have to remember that, again, you had prejudice existing back then, and it was purely that. In this particular situation, their challenge is that he's affecting their bottom line because the president hijacked the issue, turned it into something that it's not, got the support of his constituency who went about the business of trying to affect their bottom line. That's entirely different than just being blackballed. I think if it were not for that, Colin Kaepernick would still be playing in the NFL as we speak. It's because of that he is not, and I think that's significantly different than John Carlos and Tommy Smith and what they had to endure. But I got to get on out of here. I appreciate the call. NBA free agency continues. I'll be back on the air in 22 hours from now. Friday, deadlines for LeBron James, DeAndre Jordan, and others. Stick around. Tune in to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio. Until then, peace and love. Talk to you in 22 hours.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.